Imagine a time before computer screens, printers and PowerPoint presentations. A time before computer graphics and digital music. Professor Andrew Meares is lead at the Cybernetics Futures Group at the Australian National University and an award-winning photojournalist. Hi Andrew, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Now your session was called Creativity, Cybernetics and Computers, Insights from 1968 to 2050. Could you give me a quick overview of that session?
Yeah, look, we were in the track 2050, so we wanted to share with the audience how can we prepare and think about that. And a great technique we use for futuring in my university research is to go look at the past. And so we went back in time. I had an old school slide projector that used celluloid film, if anyone knows what that is. It's it's film, you've got to shine light through it. And so we fired up a slide projector. And I showed this remarkable data set that I've come across through my research that was put together in 1969 to explain to creatives at that time how you could use a computer to make art.
Amazing.
This is at a time when your gas bill and maybe a check, like computers, like 600 computers in Australia at that time, and this most amazing artwork came out of that. And so a computer scientist in Australia had came across that, and he was trying to share the power of compute. And our work shows that these communities just did the best they could to share their ideas with the tools they had at the time, and they created their future as our present today. And so my invitation to the audience was, you too can do that. And in fact, the tools and opportunities we have today are remarkable, but get together with your friends, do those crazy ideas and share them. And that's how the future is built in the present.
Amazing. And is there one big lesson that we can learn from the artist's early encounters?
Yeah, it was an invitation. So at that time, an artist held a paintbrush. And here you could actually draw with a computer. That was unheard of. So an engineer could be an artist, and an artist could use engineering to create art. And so we felt that it's in a way utilising the opportunity and invite people to collaborate is the big lesson we got out of that.
Brilliant. And what's one key takeaway that the attendees of your session will walk away with?
Go play.
Excellent.
Right? This is an iterative cycle. A lot of those people didn't know what they were doing. They just had a crazy idea and found a method. And then by doing that, they created pathways for others. So go play. Amazing.
And it's interesting in line with animation in particular, when you look at you look at the old Disney, storyboard artists creating and animating and stuff then, and how it's just been revolutionised. Even, in the last 5 years, it's so different now. It's an exciting time for artists and technology.
Yeah, so it's in those 1960s, they realised, computers are really good at repetition. And so they developed those morphing ideas that you're speaking about, and this idea you could make a film with a computer. And so they started doing things with squares. We can rotate a square, and that's kind of how it began to what you're saying today. And I think there's no excuse now. There's so many opportunities for you to share your... But those days, they actually had to build the computers to go do this work. No screens, punch cards, printouts, but they still found a way. So it's going to feel weird and uncomfortable. People won't understand what the hell you're talking about. The word computer graphics was invented at that time because they weren't comfortable to call it art. And so I think we're in a phase now of AI is deeply ambiguous to us, and we're trying to work out what that is. But it stabilizes over time as people use it and share it. So that's why I'm saying if you play, you iterate, you learn from that, you get feedback from the audience and how you're sharing it, and just invite people to come and do that with you because it's much more fun with
Absolutely.
others, right?
Playing is essential. We forget as adults sometimes to play, don't we? And so I understand that you have a key tip for what people need to do to enjoy South by Southwest Sydney. What's your key tip?
Well, serendipity. So one of the exhibitions was called Cybernetics Serendipity. Cybernetics is about systems and feedback and things connecting people, technology. Technology is always deeply social and cultural. And they put this exhibition on which we looked at serendipity, were happy chance discoveries. So that's what South by Southwest is. Go into a session that you never intended, is really removed from your day-to-day. Talk to someone in the queue while you're waiting to go in. I guarantee there'll be a serendipitous moment that will lead to a coffee or an opportunity or a business venture. So really lean in to those happy chance discoveries, because that's what South by Southwest is all about.
Absolutely. And what role do you think South by Southwest Sydney plays in shaping the future of your field?
Well, these exhibitions that I've become obsessed with in my slide deck, that's what they did. They gave an excuse or an opportunity for people to come together in an event and to share a conversation, share an idea and build something together. So it's an excuse, right? It's an excuse. Let's do this at South by Southwest. So I think South by Southwest is in a beautiful, long trajectory of people coming together and shaping what that future is, because it happens in those little rooms in South by Southwest, people coming together. and they go, wouldn't it be good if, or can we do this? And it's often those missing voices, missing conversations, or hang on, this is not here. And then you get to add and adapt and build into that emptiness. So the spaciousness of uncertainty, there's room to act.
Yes.
And I think South by Southwest is an invitation, just as those other exhibitions were.
Yeah, brilliant. And speaking of trajectory, how do you think that South by Southwest Sydney can alter the trajectory of someone's business or career?
I think doing something that's uncomfortable and unusual, like a partnership that it takes a bit of work to get there. So it's going to be productive discomfort. It's not going to be obvious straight away. Yeah. So that's this iteration and this play, that the first idea is not always the best one. And so I've really enjoyed thinking about AI and swimming. I never realised that we go and win amazing things at the Olympics because of the work. And so that's linking industry with sport, with culture. And I think not seeing these things as separate. Yes. And that innovation happens in the arts just as much as it does in the big R&D labs. I'm really proudly Australian, and I'm really interested in Aussie innovation and opportunities, and I want to see what's happening from here that's going to the rest of the world. Yes, we learn from the rest of the world, but this has always been a place for 60,000 years of, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander technology and innovation. And I went to an amazing session which really shared with that culture is evolving. It's about adapting to our contemporary settings, and that's what shaped what comes next. I think Indigenous voices, First Nations voices, and how do we not just give them space but listen, and then enact what's being sharing. In that we've got this beautiful sustainability place, and they've been doing that for a really long time, and I think we have a lot to learn and then go do.
Absolutely. And what's been your favourite thing that you've experienced this time at South by Southwest Sydney?
I'd say it was a passive thing. I was sitting down in the park just catching up with some friends, and then, my God, these music acts, just one after another. I'm embarrassed to say I don't even know who they were, but my God, they made me feel something. Great. This is a genre of music I would never choose to listen to or know about, but they put in such an amazing performance. Daylight, these are probably nighttime, beautiful lighting, but they just gave such professionals that they really created a feeling. So I just respected that, and then I too felt something. So I think it's that slowing down and listening a little bit, not just rushing around. So that, and crazy conversations on the escalators, right? Like all those, the gaps in between. It's not just about the sessions.
Yeah, it's the overall experience, and savour everything.
And it's you need to have a nap too, right?
Oh yeah, naps are necessary. They're mandatory, absolutely. Well, it's been so great chatting with you, Andrew. Thank you so much for joining me in the South by Southwest Sydney studio.
Thank you so much.
And you can watch more of these videos at youtube.com/South by Southwest Sydney.